start things off for us today. There we go. Looks like we're good to go.
All right. Okay. Alrighty, so good morning, everybody. My name is Stacey Rice-Dorman, and while I know most of you, for anyone that I don't know, I'm the Director of Player Development for the Indiana PGA section. It's great to be here with you today. During the month of January, Kim and I are hosting several webinars, and that we hope will be able to provide you with useful information that you can use during the off-season to plan for your 2021 year. Last week was our first webinar on PGA Junior League. If you missed the webinar, we did share the video out with the membership in an email, so please let us know if you didn't receive it, and we're happy to share it again. For today's webinar, we encourage you to participate. However, we ask that you keep your computer or phone on mute unless you would like to speak or ask a question. And you can always unmute to speak, but it drastically lowers the amount of background noise if you remain on mute for the rest of the call. You can find the mute button on the lower middle portion of your screen, and you may also ask questions by posting in the chat area, which is located on the top right corner of the screen. We will see all of the questions posted in the chat area and can then address those questions as they arrive. I'm going to let Kim get us kick-started off with today's topic, which is a new program called PGA Family Cup.
Thanks so much, Stacey, and hello to everyone. It's good to see you today. For those of you that may not know me, my name is Kim Shafer, and I am both a PGA and an LPGA member, and I am the Regional League Manager for the Indiana, Michigan, Northern, and Southern Ohio PGA sections. So I work very closely with Stacey in the Indiana section to assist you with all of your player development needs. Today's topic, I think, is going to be an exciting topic for both you and your families at your facility. So we're going to be sharing with you kind of a new program that's called the PGA Family Cup. So the most obvious question is, what is PGA Family Cup? And basically, PGA Family Cup is kind of a natural evolution to PGA Junior League. And it will help you get not just the juniors, but their entire families onto the golf course. When we look at PGA Junior League, there are tons of spectators walking the course, renting spectator carts. You know, we've got, grandparents, parents, siblings, aunts, uncles, cousins. We've got all these people out there watching those PGA Junior League matches. And our first thought is, how do we get those people off the cart path as spectators and get them onto the golf course actually participating? And PGA Family Cup, we believe, is the answer to that, and getting more family golf at your facilities. So in 2020, there were a handful of facilities that were pilot hosts for PGA Family Cup. And the response from those family surveys that we did was overwhelmingly positive. We had two different surveys, one for the professionals that hosted the event, and then another survey for the families that participated in the events. And literally from all the facilities that did it last year, the pros gave it, every single pro that did it, gave it a score of 10 out of 10. We didn't even get a 9 out of 10. They all loved it so much. And the families, out of a score that goes all the way up to 100, gave it an 88, which is astronomically high. Most other sports, you'll see scores of anywhere from 30 to 60. So that puts in perspective how high a score of 88 would be. So everybody was really, really happy with the pilot program. And as a result of all of that positive feedback, PGA Family Cup is now being launched nationwide in 2021. So there's really, in my mind, there's really no better way to connect with your families and strengthen not only your relationships with them, but actually their relationships with each other by getting them out on the golf course and getting them participating in PGA Family Cup. So I'm going to let Stacey take a minute to just kind of fill you in on, some of the details, like the format and whatnot.
Forgot to unmute myself. So I'm super excited about PGA Family Cup and the opportunity this represents for PGA professionals. The format is similar to PGA Junior League in that it features a two-person scramble with substitutes being allowed to sub every 3 holes. Teams can be made up of 2 to 6 players from a family. Extended family members are welcome. The 2 players competing in the scramble must be an adult ages 18 or older, and a junior age is 17 and under. So an 18-year-old cousin could play with a 14-year-old cousin, a grandparent could play with a grandchild, etc. And every 3 holes you could sub in and out. There is flexibility in the format that you could decide to play 9 holes or 18 holes. You might decide to play from different sets of tees, or you might set up all 3 holes as par 3 holes to provide more opportunities for beginners to play. You have the freedom to design an event tailored to your family's needs.
It is very flexible. You can also have flexibility in the amount of events that you offer. So for example, you might want to run a single event and use it as an end of the year celebration, maybe at the end of your PGA Junior League season, and have just a single event. Or you might choose to provide a series of events so that families could play multiple times. During our pilot year, we had a lot of facilities sign up as single events, and then they ended up actually changing their minds because their families had so much fun, and they went back and decided to provide some multiple events because they discovered that their families wanted to play again, or they had some families that missed their first event, and just through kind of word of mouth, they'd heard about how great it was, and they felt like they'd missed out, and so they wanted another opportunity to participate. So we encourage you to do kind of multiple events, but you can absolutely do PGA Family Cup as a single event if you'd like to do so. You also have full flexibility in how you decide to price your program. So similar to PGA Junior League, there will be a fee collected by the PGA of America, and that fee, it will be a per team fee. So each one of your families that goes online and registers as a team would pay a $45 fee as a team, and that would cover all of the awards and the tee gifts for the event. So the awards will be provided by Signs by the Sea, and they're really nice awards. We got a lot of positive feedback on the awards last year. And the tee gifts for this year are going to feature something that the entire family can kind of use together. So for example, it's going to be a family picture frame, some ball markers that they can use while they're out playing, a Bluetooth speaker, and then a nice tote bag so that everybody can kind of throw all their stuff in there. So that $45 fee will cover all the tee gifts and the awards for your families. And then you would have, similar to PGA Junior League, the freedom to price your program accordingly based off what you would like to offer. So above that $45 fee, you would want to, determine a fee that maybe you need to consider. For example, are you going to include greens fees or cart fees? Food and beverage, is that going to be included in the fee? Or are you going to make those things kind of a la carte for the day? You will also want to determine, how many events you're going to have. Are you going to have one event or multiple events? And then another option is you could also package into your overall fee some individual family clinics. So I had several pros last year that told me for 2021 that they're going to increase the fee of their Family Cup program, and they're going to include like one family clinic so that family can come and have a 1-hour family clinic with the professional, and just lump that in and include that in, because they feel like that will give them even more opportunity to get to know that family, and they feel like that might lead to even further instructional opportunities down the road. So just a couple things to keep in mind when you're looking at pricing your program.
Some extra fun activities that a few professionals have done at their facilities featured awards given out for the best decorated golf cart, or Team Spirit Award for the best dressed family. We have heard great stories from families about how their kids really got into these themes and they had a blast planning together their cart decorations or creating their family team uniform. These awards keep the event fun and allows those non-competitive families the opportunity to win an award.
Along those same lines, I've heard some other best practices as well from some pros that hosted this last year. And they included just some fun family games, such as, a cornhole competition or a water balloon toss or an egg toss and, a three-legged race, whatever it might be. And that allowed every family member to somehow participate. So even if there was somebody that was not a golfer, or maybe they didn't want to jump in and play those 3 holes, they could still be a part of the family day. One pro said that he put kind of music on the first tee and made some really kind of funny announcements about each family as he was introducing them for their tee time. And he let the family kind of pick their team name for the day. And so it was almost like they had kind of this walk-up music for each family as they came up. And he said the families just loved it and they really enjoyed it. So there's just a lot of different creative ways to make the day extra special for all of the family members. The entry fee, which I mentioned earlier, I wanted to make sure that you knew it is a per team fee rather than a per player fee. So that's $45 per team. And that's one of the main reasons for that is we received a lot of feedback from the families saying that they liked this because grandpa or maybe mom or this little 7-year-old sibling, maybe they might not have participated if they had to pay a per player fee, but since there was just one big family fee, they were able to get some of their non-golfing family members to join in and actually play 3 holes, and they felt like it was a better way to get everybody included. So that is just a per team fee. So Stacey and I just shared a ton of information with you about PGA Family Cup. What I really want to do, though, is I want to take a minute and I want to chat with one of the pros who actually hosted a pilot event last year. And we have with us today, David Chase is from the Country Club of Lansing in Michigan. And he hosted one of our pilot programs this last year. And he has done an amazing job there with their families, has a huge PGA Junior League program, and had a very successful PGA Family Cup event. So we're really excited to have him here today so he can kind of share with you his first experience with PGA Family Cup. So David, welcome, and I'm going to start hammering you with a few questions here. So first of all, what were some of your biggest takeaways from your PGA Family Cup event this year?
Yeah, thanks for having me. So I think that one of the biggest takeaways was that our success really stemmed from a successful in-house league. This was the first year that we went to an in-house, and we had a great summer. I guess essentially due to COVID, with everyone not really having much to do and golf was an activity, that really helped feed our in-house league. And so we planned our Family Cup. Oh, I see in the chat someone can't hear me. Can you hear me, Kim?
Kim, I can't hear you either. David, I could hear you just before.
Sorry, I didn't unmute. That's why you couldn't hear me. Can everybody, can you just raise your hand if you can hear David? Okay, interesting. So Jeff, I am really sorry that you cannot hear David. It seems like everybody else is hearing him okay. My suggestion, Jeff, is sometimes this happens to me. My suggestion would be to log out and log back in and see if that solves it. And if not, we are recording this, so we'll make sure that we get that recording to you too, Jeff. So sorry about that. Go right ahead, David.
Okay. So what we did was we strategically placed our Family Cup on the evening of our in-house league championship. So our in-house league took place on weekday mornings. So we had our championship, or as we call it, the Capital City Cup, was in the morning, and then the Family Cup was later that evening, and it was sold out. So it was. I remember I was emailing Kim back and forth before, like, well, our families are notorious for kind of signing up for stuff last minute. Should I order extra kits? Things like that. And but I gave them a deadline for a couple weeks before we were going to hold the event, and sure enough, a couple weeks before we were at full capacity. So. We didn't have to worry about any last-minute signups or anything. Another takeaway was that this was the only event all year that we actually had a mob around our scoreboard. So typically when our events are over, I just get a scorecard thrown at me, and then they just leave. And then maybe they come and check it out later, but usually not even that. But this one, every single person that played in the event, they handed in their scorecard, and they stood around the scoreboard waiting to watch each number go up because they were so excited to see how they did and how other friends did and things like that. And it was really, really cool to see that. And I have to share this story from our event because this is still buzzing in my mind. And it's that we have one member at our club, and he's been a longtime member. His kids are members, his grandkids are members, and he absolutely loves the game of golf. He takes his kids out to golf daily. They're in our junior programs. If they're not there for a junior program, then he has them there to go take them out and play a few holes on the course with them. And let me tell you, these grandkids truly look up to him like he's a superhero. Like their faces are always just glowing when they talk to him or talk about him. He's kind of their superhero. And so they were all paired. We put them all together on the same hole, and it was funny. It looked like a big gallery, probably similar to the Tiger and Charlie gallery that he had. But it was truly. I mean, if anybody in that family wasn't playing, then they were there to spectate. So we probably had about 4 to 5 of his kids there, about 7 to 8 of his grandkids, and like I said, just a few teams were playing. And on one of our holes, he had a hole-in-one, and I heard about it after the round, and I've never seen somebody so happy in my life. I mean, he was walking up, his face was glowing. His kids, they looked. I mean, like I said, he is their superhero, and they just saw him do something that they didn't even think was possible. I mean, I've never seen these kids so excited to tell me about what had just happened. And one of the things he's known for is that he actually has a hole-in-one on each of the par threes at the club. So I knew he had a few hole-in-ones. So I asked him, I was like, how many hole-in-ones is this for you? And he said, this is my 5th, but by far my most favorite because of my family being there to see it. So the reason why I want to bring up this story is that this is a moment that nobody is going to forget. I mean, I still haven't even forgot about it. And this moment happened at our course, and it really wouldn't have been possible without Family Cup.
That's awesome. Such a great story. So it definitely sounds like your families really enjoyed the experience. What did your families enjoy most about your PGA Family Cup event at your facility?
Yeah, I think the best thing was that everybody really enjoyed an opportunity to have a special night together, especially in a summer where everything was canceled. For most people, they didn't really have a lot of stuff to look forward to. This is just a really great night where they came out, they played their round. Actually, the round only took about an hour and a half, which surprised me. They all sat around the scoreboard, all excited, and then every family actually went and had dinner afterwards too. And so not only was it just a special night all around for everybody, but then I also heard about it for weeks later. I saw all the families the next day or the following week, and they were constantly bringing it back up. So I know it was really just a great night that a lot of them are going to remember forever.
You know, David, you bring up a great point. It's about the memories that they're creating on the golf course. And, you know, the PGA Family Cup right now is an incredible way to get those families to come together, to come to you in your facility. And so obviously they're associating those positive memories with you and with your facility, and that only makes them want to come back more. You know, I mean, it's just a great way to really create loyal customers. You know, you mentioned the hole-in-one. If I remember correctly, you set up your entire 9-hole event as par threes. Is that correct? Am I remembering that correctly?
Yeah. Yep. So we set up everything as par threes.
Yeah, and that's probably why you had such a great pace of play, and everybody got through really quickly. And you know, that's another point of flexibility for the program. Is we had some pros this year that played, you know, had their families play from the regular tee markers, just, you know, kind of depending on where they normally would play from, and play, you know, the full golf course. We had others that did the par 3 setup. And I will say, I think it just depends on the audience that you're trying to attract, but I will say that we had an overwhelmingly positive response from those that set it up as a par 3 course, because they said that they had more of what I'm just going to call their non-golfing family members decide that they would do it because it was such a short hole. And so, depending on what your ultimate goal is with your event, if you're looking to get some new people involved, I think that's a great best practice is, setting all 9 holes up as a par 3. And then also, it doesn't take nearly as long. So people will probably want to stick around and, see how everybody does, or stick around and have dinner like you kind of mentioned as well. So that's a really good best practice. Do you plan on doing anything differently when you all host again in 2021? So are you maybe going to do more events rather than a single event, or are you going to add in any extra fun games or experiences? What are your thoughts for this next year?
Yeah, so actually, we definitely wanted to add another event, but also try to maintain the fact that, because I think a part of the reason it was so popular was how it was kind of on a special night. So it was on the morning of, we just had our Capital City Cup. So it was kind of on a special night. So we're looking to have a second one, one to start off the PGA Junior League season, so the night of that, and then another one, and then another one on the end of the season as we did last time. Another thing we're thinking about doing was, now that we know it only takes an hour and a half, because we were totally expecting a 3+ hour night, because when we had PGA Junior League on weekday evenings, it took forever. We played until dark, so we're kind of expecting that. Knowing the course is still short, it's a similar format. It seemed like it would be the same time, but no, it only took an hour and a half. So for next year, we're going to plan on trying to offer some different dinner specials, knowing that the families are probably going to plan on sticking around afterwards, but also adding a few more games and things like that to the beginning of it, just because we know it's not going to take. The night's not going to go all night, so let's try to get some more activities in there. So things like we've talked about, maybe a putting contest, setting up the green like a mini golf course, or setting up a little photo shoot area with props, so everyone can get a really fun team photo as well.
So David, besides the monetary value, what are the intangible benefits of hosting PGA Family Cup?
Yeah, so really, like I said, the memories are by far, I think, the biggest benefit. We had the hole-in-one. Another thing from that same night was one of our juniors actually almost had a hole-in-one. And he was able to hit that shot in front of his family. We had to do a putt-off for a tiebreaker at the end of the night, and one of the dads made this putt in front of his son, and I've never seen his son so proud in his life, because I picked a pretty long putt, and I was going to have both, they could choose one adult and one child to putt it, and then I was going to do combined distance, and when he made it, his son just looked at him like, wait, what? What did you just do? And so it was just all these special memories that I was able to not only see firsthand, but then hear people talking about them again and again, and I just want to reiterate that these memories are made at our golf course. So it wasn't like our families went somewhere else to go do this event, and then they were telling me later about how they had fun at this event. These memories are at our golf course. So when all those families come back, that's where it's associated with.
That's awesome. You've hit on it multiple times, and I think it's the best part of the PGA Family Cup is the memories that are being created out there on the course. And one thing that you just said, which I have not heard from any other pros yet, and I think it's brilliant, is you said that this year, one of the things that you think you'll do is you'll bring out like some fun props for like a family photo. One of the tee gifts is the really nice PGA Family Cup picture frame. And we did have some pros last year that, got really nice family photos and then went out and, got them processed and then brought them back and put them in those picture frames and gave them out to the families. But they were like serious photos, you know, where everybody's just standing there with their golf club or, you know, whatever. I love your idea of maybe having some fun props and, you know, having some sort of fun background and doing some just crazy, goofy family photos and then being able to give those to your families so they can put them in their picture frame and kind of have that. That's a really good idea, and that's one that I haven't heard of yet. And again, to your point, one comment that I heard from a family member that played at a different event this year was he told me, he said, you know, he goes, most of the tournaments and competitions that I play in, he goes, they're like more serious. You know, it's like I'm playing in, you know, the member guest or I'm playing in the club championship or something like that. He said, you know, he goes, when I look back at this year, he goes, my absolute favorite day on the golf course was actually the PGA Family Cup event. And he goes, it was just such a low stress, just fun day with my family. And so, you know, it sounds like that's exactly what you're offering at your facility as well. You know, I guess, you know, one thing I would like to know, and I know you've already shared so much, but are there any other best practices that you have that you would like to share with the group that maybe you haven't mentioned yet so far?
Yeah. So I think we touched on it earlier. But I think it's important to repeat that I do think that the par threes were a really good way to go. Just because it was fast, it was easy to set up. We're only putting one tee box out there, and there's also now 9 chances for that magical hole-in-one. So I would say if you're unsure of how you want to set up the golf course, I'd recommend the par threes. And then I was also one of those pros that did the photos and then ran it and got them processed last year. So what I did was because I was going through the tee gifts and I noticed the picture frame in there and I was like, okay, well, you know, maybe like this is a cool gift, but what it would be even better if we could give them something to fill it with. So I stole my wife's nice camera, brought it in, and gave it to one of the assistants. And so his job was after I checked him in, I would send him over. He would take the picture, and then I sent him over to Walmart. Does prints in an hour, luckily. So I ran over there, and believe me, that was very stressful, especially knowing how fast they were playing. And when I was running over to go pick up the pictures, and everyone was like, "Hey, they're on their last hole." So I would recommend if you are going to take pictures and do this, send someone else to pick them up, because they'll play faster than you expect. But we took the pictures, got them processed, brought them back, and it was something that, like, you know, to me it didn't seem like it was that big of a deal. As you said, I mean, these pictures are just kind of like a stiff, you know, half the people are smiling, you know, some people are looking the wrong direction, just kind of little thing. But to be able to, when they turn in their scorecard, to hand them a picture as well and say, hey, go ahead and put this in your frame. That really meant a lot to a lot of people. I had a couple moms that I would hand them the picture and they would start crying, and it just, that didn't really hit me as being that big of a deal until I started giving those pictures. And then actually, one of our other pros, he shared with me, he went to one of the members that played in it, owns a dental practice, and he went there to get his teeth cleaned, you know, a month later. And that picture in the picture frame was in his office, and he, you know, he pointed out, he's like, hey, I like the picture, and he's like, yeah, it was probably my best night of the summer, so I like to have that there as a reminder. So that's why when we sat down to look at things to do for next year, you know, the fun props and that kind of stuff was an idea that came to mind, because just because of how powerful taking those pictures ended up being.
That's so cool. What advice would you have for a pro considering hosting a PGA Family Cup event or series for the very first time?
So, well, I guess my advice would be definitely do it. And I have to say this just because when I was in this position last year, I wasn't really planning on having a PGA Family Cup. I had heard about it, and I was kind of under the usual, just looking at the list of events we're going to run and thinking like we have a pretty busy schedule. I don't really want to add anything else. And then, then all of a sudden our events started dropping one by one. And it was kind of like, okay, well, now that we're not hosting as many, let's give this a try. And I'm beyond happy that I did give it a try. So if you are a little overwhelmed on, adding one more event to the schedule, this is one that should be the first event on the schedule. As I just want to reiterate that because a year ago, I was not planning on hosting one of these, and now I'm so glad I did. But my other advice is just that this really is probably going to be the easiest event that you run all year. We had, there's only one set of tee markers, so it just popping them out there. The PGA supplied scorecards and tee gifts and rule books. So there wasn't really a whole lot of kind of prep on our end because we already had a lot of that supplied. And because families are going there expecting on picking up these items, it was a lot easier because they had to check in with me. I could give each family individually just a rundown of the rules before giving them their tee gifts and scorecard, and then send them on their way to either get warmed up or take their picture. So everyone really got an individual rule kind of rundown instead of the normal tournaments where we'll just say something over the intercom and only one or two people actually hear it. So it really was probably the easiest event we ran all year. And then once again, I was just shocked about how fast the pace of play was, because then that made everything run a lot smoother afterwards too.
Awesome. David, thank you so much for sharing all that. I just want you to know that when you handed those picture frames over to the moms and they started crying, that COVID has us all on this emotional roller coaster. So I'm going to just assume that those were happy tears when they were doing that, and that you probably were actually making their day. So I think you're right, though, is sometimes you don't realize how important what you're actually doing is. And, coming to the facility and playing golf is an escape right now for so many people. So it was kind of a nice story that you told there, because obviously that means a lot to a lot of your families. You have shared a ton of information with us, and it's all fantastic. So I really appreciate you taking the time to do so. I would love to kind of open it up right now to any questions that anybody has about PGA Family Cup. You can ask, myself, Stacey, David. I'm going to let you kind of think about it for just a minute as I just give you a real short, recap. You can either unmute yourself and ask a question, or you can type a question up into the chat channel as well. But I'm going to give you a short summary and kind of a timeline of when you can expect PGA Family Cup to be available. So super short summary. PGA Family Cup, you can run it as a single event, or you can run it as a series of events. Similar to PGA Junior League, there is a fee that your families pay when they register online. It is a per family fee, so it's $45 fee, and that includes all of the tee gifts and the awards for the event. You have the freedom to create your own pricing after kind of above and beyond that $45 fee. The format, 2 to 6 family members can play on a single team. Similar to PGA Junior League, every 3 holes, they can substitute in and out. During that 3-hole segment, the 2 people that are playing the 2-person scramble format, one of them has to be an adult, ages 18 and over, and one of them has to be a junior, ages 17 and under. So that's kind of the basic gist of the format and the pricing and things like that. For a timeline, we are hoping, we don't have an exact date because they're still finalizing all the technology of the new website, but we're hoping within the next week to 2 weeks that the facility registration will open. So that's when the professionals could go online and register their facility to host their PGA Family Cup program for this next year. And then we're targeting right around February 1st as when the families would be able to go online and register to participate in your program at your facility. So as those dates get finalized and as the registration materials become available, we will send that out to you and make sure that you have that. So that way, we will be there to help you through that registration process in any way possible. So there's my short recap. You've had a minute to think about questions. Does anybody have any questions they'd like to ask? You can unmute or type it in the chat channel.
Hey, Kim, this is Crystal.
Yes, Crystal.
I kind of hopped in here late, so and excuse any background noise you hear. I'm at home right now. I have kids and pets and all that good stuff. So again, I kind of hopped in late. I got your summary, but I love this idea. So it's, and just kind of as I'm sitting here thinking about it. So if we were to run, like say for an example, like we have a par 3 course there at the Legends, which I think would obviously be a perfect place to kind of run a Family Cup series. So I'm thinking I'm trying to create, just obviously family opportunities. And, in a time of COVID, I think people are still going to be looking for stuff to do as a family. So I'm just thinking if I were to create like a Family Cup summer series where it takes place maybe in May, June, July, and August. So like four events, maybe 3 to 4 events. So that $45 fee, what are people charging above and beyond that? And are people, do we have kind of like an example of like, if I'm just running the events and they're just playing events, maybe obviously, maybe do a couple things like David was saying prior to the events. Do you have like an example of, I don't know, kind of what people are charging above and beyond that $45 fee?
So first of all, fantastic question, because there's so much to think about when you're trying to figure out how to price it. And Crystal, I hate to tell you this, but I have literally seen it just all over the board as far as what people are charging. And part of the reason is people are offering very different things in their programs. So like, for example, Crystal, I've got, a lot of people that in the pilot year just did one event. So clearly they didn't charge a whole lot just for one event. But this year they're telling me, hey, it was such a huge success. We're going to have 6 events, and so they are, sitting down trying to figure out, hey, what price do we need to do to have 6 different events, And then I also have this year, I had a lot of pros that last year said, hey, we're also going to include in our overall price this year, like a 1-hour family clinic for each family that registers, So however much you would want to charge, for a family to come and have a 1-hour family clinic with you, so there, and, then the other thing you have to factor in, like David said, a lot of his families stayed for dinner. So David and his staff, they're going to have to figure out, hey, are they going to include dinner in the price? Or are they not going to include dinner in the price and just say, hey, if you want to stay for dinner, you can stay and it's, $20, and then they pay extra. So there's just a lot of different things. And I'd be happy to talk more one-on-one with you if you'd like, because I do a lot of one-on-one conversations with pros to kind of help walk them through some of the finances of it as well. So we can do that individually as well. Yeah. But, just trying to figure out exactly what you want to include and maybe what you want to have kind of a la carte, so to speak, So different things like that as well. But unfortunately, I don't have like the average is this, because everybody's doing such different opportunities.
I got you. Well, I really appreciate it. And like I said, I think it's going to be perfect. Like I love this concept that I'm definitely going to incorporate it. I think doing PGA Junior League and Family Cup Series, I guess my main thing is I don't want to, and I'll talk to you about this individually, but I don't want to overcharge for Family Cup if they're at the same time paying for the kids to do PGA Junior League, so I'm going to try to be kind of sensitive to,
exactly,
obviously the family's budgets and whatnot. But yeah, I'll definitely pick your brain about that, but I love it. Love the concept.
And, a couple things, too, is like last year we did a small pilot program. This year, once we start getting more facilities registering, I will have access to all that. So I might be able to give you a little bit more, hey, within your area, I'm seeing, this particular price point or, similar things. So as more facilities register, I will also have more information that I can share too.
Right. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, that's great. Any other questions for David or Stacey or myself? All right. Just know, first of all, that we're here for you. And anytime you do have questions or like, Crystal, she, was mentioning the pricing. If you want to talk to us about that and, we can, have a one-on-one conversation and kind of talk through all the different options and help you develop your plan, please don't hesitate to reach out to us because that's what we like to do is really assist you in being successful at your facilities. So I really want to thank David for his time. Super appreciative to hear about your event and all that you're doing there at the Country Club of Lansing. I want to thank everybody that jumped on today. And just know that we appreciate you taking the time to jump on, and we look forward to hopefully having you join us for some of our future webinars. So I'm gonna say goodbye, and I'm gonna let Stacey close us out. Thanks so much.
So yeah, exactly what Kim said. Thank you everybody for joining us today. David, thank you so much for coming and being on our call for our section to help promote PGA Family Cup. So definitely looking super excited about this program and getting it going this year in our section. I know it's been a pilot program for like the past year or two and been really looking forward to getting it because I know we have a lot of great facilities that they'll be able to add this onto their current junior league program that are having tremendous success with it. So even if it's an end of the year program or like how Crystal's talking like a series throughout it, excited to see this program grow throughout Indiana. So definitely, like Kim said, if any of you have any questions, please reach out to us if you need anything. And also definitely mark your calendars for next Wednesday. We are hosting the webinar is going to be over pga.coach. So very excited about that to give you guys more information about that and how you can incorporate that into your junior programs and adult programs at your facilities. So it's scheduled for January 20th at 10 a.m. Eastern time again. I'll be sending out another email reminder the day before with the link. And we'll also be sending out a recording of the webinar today later this week. So if you have any of your assistants or want to come back and listen to anything else, you guys will have access to that. But definitely don't hesitate to reach out to Kim or I. So thank you guys again for joining. We hope you enjoyed us. And thanks again for joining. Have a great day. And thanks again, David, for being a part of the call today.